Hi, everyone, and welcome. Today, we are talking about how to build a belonging, rich family culture. My name is Amy Weber. I am a child therapist and parent coach and co founder of Speak, Learn, and Play here in Brooklyn. This month, we have been talking all about belonging. And today, specifically, I want to talk about building that belonging, rich family culture through rituals, repair, and realistic expectations. I want to start with this idea. Belonging is not a single conversation. It is not one perfect family meeting. It is not one beautifully worded bedtime moment where everyone understands themselves, apologizes sincerely, and then peacefully drifts off to sleep while soft instrumental music plays in the background. Would that be nice? Absolutely. Is that how most families work? Not even a little bit. Belonging is a culture. It is something that grows over time through rituals, language, flexibility, humor, repair, and the repeated choice to make room for everyone's nervous system. Not just the child who melts down, not just the sibling who feels overloaded or overlooked, not just the parent who is trying to hold the entire emotional weather system of the house in one body while also remembering who needs cleats and who needs medication, who needs library books, and where the clean water bottle is. Everyone. A belonging, rich family is not a family where everything is calm all the time. It is a family where people know there is room for me here, room for my needs, room for my mistakes, room for my feelings, room for my growth, room for my repair, room for my weird little preferences about the way toast should be cut because apparently triangles and rectangles are emotionally different foods. Today, I want to talk about why family culture matters so much for neurodivergent kids and parents, how comparison erodes belonging, how to navigate sibling dynamics and the fair does not mean same problem, and why repair may be one of the strongest belonging tools we have. We will also talk today about practical ways to build rituals, routines, and family language that help everyone feel like they matter. So let's dive into why family culture matters. Every family has a culture, even if you have never sat down and said, let us now formally define our family culture, which would be both adorable and slightly suspicious to your children. Family culture is made of the repeated messages, patterns, rituals, reactions, jokes, expectations, and emotional habits that shape what it feels like to live in your home. It is the way people greet each other, the way conflict is handled, the way mistakes are talked about, the way needs are responded to, the way differences are explained, the way stress moves through the house, the way people come back together after things fall apart. For neurodivergent kids, family culture can be especially powerful because so much of the outside world may already feel demanding, confusing, or correcting. School may require masking, social situations may require some decoding, community spaces may include sensory tolerance, activities may require flexibility, even fun events may require a level of regulation that is quietly exhausting. So, home becomes a place where a child is asking, often without words, can I be myself here? Can I struggle here? Can I have needs here? Can I be loved without performing? Can I mess up and still come back? Parents are asking their own version of these questions too. Can I be imperfect here? Can I repair after I lose it? Can I admit how hard this is? Can I need support and still be a good parent? Siblings may be asking, do I matter? Are my needs seen? Is everything always about my brother or sister? Can I have feelings about this family experience without being the bad guy? A belonging rich family culture does not answer those questions perfectly every day. But over time, it tries to answer, yes, you matter here. Yes, your needs matter here. Yes, we can make room for each other. Yes, we can try again. One of the biggest threats to belonging is comparison. Comparison can sneak into families quietly. It can sound like, why can't you just do what your sister does? Your brother never had this much trouble at your age. Other families seem to handle this better. Other kids can go to restaurants. Other kids can manage sleepovers. Other parents don't have to think this hard about birthday parties, haircuts, homework, socks, transitions, and whether the lights of the dentist will send everyone into the emotional basement. Comparison is usually born from exhaustion or fear. Parents compare because they are trying to understand. They are trying to measure. They are trying to figure out if something is okay. They are trying to locate themselves on a map. But comparison often erodes belonging because it tells a child directly or indirectly, you are being measured against a version of childhood that does not fit you. For neurodivergent kids, comparison can reinforce shame. They may already know things are easier for other kids. They may already notice that siblings need fewer reminders. They may already feel like the child who makes things complicated. When comparison enters the room, it can deepen the story. I am the problem. And parents can compare themselves too. They may look at other families and think, why does this seem easier for them? Other families are going on vacation. Other families are eating brunch in public. Other families are posting apple picking photos where no one appears to be crying because a bee existed too close to a cider donut. But we rarely see the full truth of another family. We see the highlight reel, not the car ride home. We see the smiling picture, not the 37 negotiations required to get everyone into pants. A belonging rich family tries to shift from comparison to curiosity. Instead of, why can't we be like them? We want to ask, what works for us? What does our family need? What helps this child feel safe? What helps this sibling feel included? What helps this parent feel grounded? What version of this tradition, outing, routine, or expectation actually fits our real family? The goal is not to become a different family. The goal is to become more honest and more supportive inside the family you actually have. Mhm. Let's talk about siblings for a second, because belonging rich culture has to include everyone. In families with neurodivergent kids, siblings may have big and complicated feelings. They may love their brother or sister deeply. They may also feel frustrated, embarrassed, resentful, protective, jealous, worried, or overlooked. Sometimes siblings feel like the neurodivergent child gets more attention, more patience, more explanations, more accommodations, more chances, more exceptions. And sometimes they are absolutely right. Not because a parent loves one child more than the other, but because one child may need more support in certain moments. And this is where the phrase, fair does not mean same, matters. Fair means everyone gets what they need. Same means everyone gets identical things. And in real family life, identical is not always fair. One child may need noise canceling headphones. Another may need reassurance that their soccer game will still be attended. One child may need a break from the table. Another may need help feeling like dinner is not always interrupted. One child may need a visual schedule. Another may need private time with a parent. One child may need fewer words during conflict. Another may need more opportunities to talk through their feelings. The challenge is making room for different needs without anyone becoming the victim. The neurodivergent child should not be framed as the person who ruins things. The sibling should not be framed as selfish for having feelings. The parent should not be expected to meet everyone's needs perfectly all the time, because that is not parenting. That is being a magical octopus with a therapy degree. Instead, families can use language like, different people in our family need different kinds of help. Your brother is having a hard time, and your feelings matter too. We are going to help your sister calm down, and then we will come back to what you needed. It makes sense that you felt frustrated. This was hard for everyone. Fair does not mean everyone gets the same thing. Fair means we try to notice what each person needs. Siblings also need spaces where they are not always asked to be understanding. Sometimes they need permission to say, that was hard for me, not in a way that shames the neurodivergent child, but in a way that validates the sibling's experience, not just the loudest person. So, how do we make room without making anyone the villain? This is one of the most important parts of belonging rich family culture. This can be really hard when one person's needs conflict with someone else's needs. One child needs quiet, another child needs movement. One child needs routines and predictability, another child craves novelty. One parent needs a plan, another parent is barely surviving the plan. One sibling wants family game night, another sibling cannot tolerate losing. One child wants to talk about their special interest for an hour, another child wants a quiet car ride without hearing about the mating habits of deep sea creatures. There are going to be conflicts. Belonging does not mean that everyone gets exactly what they want. It means we approach those conflicts with the belief that needs are not character flaws. A need for quiet is not being difficult. A need for movement is not being wild. A need for predictability is not being controlling. A need for attention is not being selfish. A need for space is not being rude. A belonging rich family learns to say, we have two real needs here. Let's figure out what we can do. That one sentence can change the entire tone. Instead of who is causing the problem, we ask, what are the needs in this room? Maybe the child who needs quiet can wear headphones. Maybe the child who needs movement can jump outside for 5 minutes. Maybe the family outing can still happen, but be shorter. Maybe the holiday tradition can change. Maybe dinner can include a sensory-friendly food without becoming a referendum on gratitude. Maybe everyone can take a break and try again. The goal is not to solve every competing need perfectly. The goal is to communicate your needs matter and your needs matter too. We are going to keep working on how to live together with care. Now I want to talk about repair. And this is something I talk about all the time. Repair is one of the strongest belonging tools that we have. Not because it is fancy, not because it requires a special workbook, a candle, and everyone making meaningful eye contact. Repair is powerful because it teaches the family we can come back. We can mess up and still be connected. We can take responsibility without being swallowed by shame. We can learn from what happened. We are not stuck in the worst moment. Every family has rupture. Rupture might look like yelling, slamming doors, a harsh tone, a sibling fight, a meltdown, a parent snapping, a child saying something hurtful, a plan falling apart, a family outing ending in the parking lot while everyone eats snacks in grim silence. The goal is not to avoid rupture forever. That is not possible. The goal is to make repair part of the family culture. Repair sounds like, I'm sorry I yelled. I was feeling overwhelmed, but yelling was not okay. That got really big. Let's talk about what happened when everyone is calmer. I love you. We still need to clean up the mess, but you are not bad. I know your feelings were hurt. I want to understand. I think we both got stuck. Can we try again? I should have given you more warning before that transition. I was trying to help, but I used too many words and I made it harder. And repair is not just for parents. Kids can learn repair too. A child might say, I'm sorry I grabbed. I got mad when I lost. Can we try again? I need a break. I didn't mean to scare you. I want to come back. Repair does not erase accountability. It creates a path back to connection so accountability can actually happen. When kids are drowning in shame, they cannot reflect. When they feel connected enough, the more they are able to learn. That is why repair is not soft. Repair is sturdy and solid. Here is the reflection question I want to offer. What does our family do that helps each person feel like they matter here? Not what does our family do perfectly, not are our routines Instagram worthy. The question is, what helps each person feel like they matter here? Maybe it's a bedtime check-in, maybe it's Saturday pancakes, maybe it's a silly phrase you say when things go sideways, maybe it's a sensory break space, maybe it is making sure siblings get lots of one-on-one time, maybe it's repairing after blowups, maybe it's letting family traditions change when they are no longer working, maybe it's humor. Maybe it's music in the car. Maybe it's the family rule that anyone can ask for a restart or a reset. Belonging grows from those repeated messages. You matter, your needs matter, your voice matters, your repair matters, your presence matters. So I want to leave you with some practical tips. Number one, create family rituals that are flexible, not fragile. Rituals are repeated moments that help a family feel like a family. They do not have to be elaborate, they can be tiny. Friday pizza, a bedtime phrase, Sunday waffles, a family walk, a car song, a good thing, hard thing, weird thing check in, a birthday breakfast, a 2-minute snuggle, a secret handshake, a silly holiday tradition, a family movie night where at least one person talks through the entire movie because apparently silence is not part of the package. Rituals help kids feel anchored. They communicate, this is what we do, this is who we are, There is a place for you in this pattern. But rituals need flexibility, especially in neurodivergent families. A fragile ritual says, if this does not happen exactly as planned, it is ruined. A flexible ritual says, the heart of this can still happen even if the details change. Maybe family dinner is 10 minutes instead of 40. Maybe movie night includes headphones and movement breaks. Maybe a holiday party has an exit plan. Maybe the birthday tradition happens at breakfast because evenings are disastrous. Maybe one child joins for part of the activity. Maybe the family outing becomes a family drive-through donut run. All of those things still count. Belonging is not built by forcing a ritual that everyone hates. Belonging is built by finding flexible ways to say, we are together. Practical tip number 2, use everyone belongs, everyone contributes language. This means that we remind kids that every person in the family matters and every person can help care for the family in some way. Not equally, not perfectly, not according to the same expectations, but meaningfully. You might say everyone belongs here and everyone helps in ways they can. In our family, we make room for each other. Different people need different support. We all practice repair. We all get to have needs. We all contribute to making home feel safe. For one child, contributing might mean setting napkins on the table. For another, it might mean giving space when someone is feeling overwhelmed. For another, it might mean feeding the dog, helping choose the family movie, putting shoes in the basket, or using a repair script after yelling. Contribution builds belonging because it tells a child, you are not just someone we manage. You are part of us. You have something to offer. This is especially important for children who often feel like their needs take up too much space. They need to know they are not only recipients of support, they are also valued members of the family. Practical tip number 3, build a family menu of regulation options. Not one regulation strategy that everyone must use, not a poster that says, take deep breaths, as if breathing has never personally offended an angry child. A menu. Different nervous systems need different supports. Your family regulation menu might include quiet room, headphones, weighted blanket, cold water, crunchy snacks, movement break, wall push-ups, music, drawing, going outside, dim lights, no hug, having a hug, fidgets, petting the dog, a short walk, sitting near someone without talking, a reset phrase, a timer, a shower, screaming into a pillow, some sort of try again signal. The goal is to normalize regulation as something everyone does, not just the child who's having big reactions. Parents regulate too, siblings regulate too. You can say, my body is getting frustrated. I'm going to take a minute so I can come back much kinder. Or I think we all need a reset. Or your body looks like it needs movement or quiet. Which one should we try? This helps regulation feel less like punishment and more like family care. Tip number 4, have a repair routine after blowups. When families are calm, decide what repair usually looks like. It can be simple. First, everyone gets safe. Then, everyone gets time to calm. Then, we reconnect. Then we briefly talk about what happened. Then we decide what needs to be fixed, cleaned up, apologized for, or changed next time. A repair routine might sound like pause, regulate, reconnect, reflect, repair. You do not need to use those exact words. In fact, if your child would roll their eyes so hard they sprain something, please use the words that fit your family. The point is to make repair predictable. After a blow up, kids often do not know what happens next. Am I in trouble forever? Does everyone hate me? Did I ruin the day? Am I bad? A repair routine answers no, you are not bad. Yes, we still need to talk about what happened. Yes, you may need to fix something. And yes, you can come back. Repair routines help families avoid two extremes. The one extreme is pretending that nothing happened, and the other is holding a courtroom trial while everyone is still emotionally flammable. Neither works very well. Regulate first, talk later, repair always. Tip number 5, let kids shape routines and traditions. Belonging grows when children feel some ownership of family life. This does not mean kids run the household. Please do not hand bedtime policy to a committee of tired children. They will unionize immediately. But kids can help shape the small things. They can help choose the Friday dinner, pick the family movie, name the calming corner, choose the car playlist, create a family signal for I need a break. Help decide what makes birthdays feel special. Choose between two versions of a routine. Add a silly tradition. Make the reset menu. Design a family motto. When kids help shape routines, they are more likely to feel this family includes me, my preferences matter, I am part of how we do things. For neurodivergent kids, this can be especially powerful because so much of their day may be directed by adults. Choice and ownership help build dignity. Practical tip number 6, name the family story you are building. Families are always telling stories about themselves, whether they mean to or not. We are a family that falls apart. We are a family that can't go anywhere. We are a family that is always dealing with problems. We are a family where one child ruins everything. We are a family that is too much. These stories can become heavy. So we want to name a truer, kinder story. Not fake, not perfect, but hopeful. We are a family that tries again. We are a family that repairs. We are a family that makes room for different needs. We are a family that learns what helps. We are a family that can change the plan. We are a family that does hard things with humor. We are a family that comes back together. You can say this out loud after hard moments. Well, that didn't go as planned. We are a family that tries again. That was a rough exit. We are learning what helps us leave places. We repaired. That matters. This was hard and we stayed connected. These phrases become part of the emotional wallpaper of the home. Over time, kids absorb them. They learn our hard moments are not the whole story. So, in closing, I want to come back to the core message. Belonging is not a single conversation. It is a family culture. It grows through rituals, language, flexibility, humor, repair, and the repeated choice to make room for everyone's nervous system. It grows when we stop comparing our family to someone else's highlight reel and start asking what actually works for the people in our home. It grows when siblings are allowed to have feelings too. It grows when different needs are respected without turning anyone into the villain. It grows when repair becomes normal. It grows when every person knows I matter here. So this week, I invite you to look for one small place to build belonging. Maybe it's a flexible ritual. Maybe it is a repair phrase. Maybe it is a family regulation menu. Maybe it's naming a need without shame. Maybe it is telling a new family story. We are a family that tries again because a belonging rich family is not calm all the time. It is not perfect. It is not always tidy, quiet, regulated, or photogenic. A belonging rich family is a family where people can mess up, come back, be known, be loved, and try again. Thank you so much for being with me today, and I will see you soon.